Welcome back, everybody. So today I'm going to be addressing an issue we had with the paint booth. So pretty much the last coat of clear on this car kind of turned out poorly. There was so much overspray in the booth because it has like pretty poor ventilation in my opinion that it kind of just filled and laid on top of it. So we are going to be able to save it. It's not the end of the world. I'm going to 1000 grit the whole car and then we're going to put one more coat of clear coat on it, which we're going to be working on today. But I guess with that paint booth design, it's really kind of hard to control the environment. We had the knowledge, I had a professional painter shoot the car. The only variable that was kind of up in the air for us was that the weather, we picked a day that didn't have high humidity, and then not knowing the operation of the paint tent itself. It does have an inside fan that pushes everything out, but the filters on the side really kind of slow the flow of air going out, so it builds up in there a lot. So we ended up cracking the filters because they're just Velcro, so it was open, so some of the stuff would push out of there. But besides that, the day was a little warm. It got really hot in there because it's all the windows on top of the tent. It was getting really hot and the sun was kind of coming in, drying everything a little too fast. So that is just one variable that you kind of can't control at all. You're kind of waiting to see what the weather is outside. And in all honesty, it's not a professional paint booth. That's like a downdraft booth. So you're dealing with all these extra things that you may not have had to deal with if you were having a sprayed in a professional booth. But that being said, it's not the end of the world. I just wanted to kind of be honest about that, about the paint booth and the experience that we kind of ran into. So we're gonna end up putting some sort of fan system in there when we do the last coat of clear to kind of pull air out of there a little bit quicker. So besides that, I'm gonna just address that today and get this thing sanded down, one more coat of clear, and then we can kind of cut and polish any imperfections out of it. So I'm gonna use my DA that I got originally. So the only change I have to make on it is that I got a hook and loop back for it. It's got like a 5/16 shaft. This is a Harbor Freight buy, so was this. So I'm gonna hook this on here, and mainly because I wanted to use this foam pad here. So I'm gonna put this on that and then use my sandpaper on this. So this is a little bit softer, so when you're going around edges and stuff like that, you won't burn through it as much. So this will help me go through and be able to do the car a little bit faster than doing it by hand. So I'm gonna hook this up, and then I got my 1000 grit sandpaper. So I'm just gonna get started. I'm gonna do it dry and just start at the front and just do kind of like a panel at a time, take my time with it and get it down flat. Show you up close what I'm doing here. So you can see this is where the paint is, and I'm sanding this flat. You can see some spots there still need to be sanded down. So all these little dimples, I'm gonna sand it flat like that. So I just finished sanding the whole car with 1000 on the DA, and then all the spots I couldn't get with that, I used by hand with 1000 grit, and then I ended up having to go over the whole car again with a scuff pad to make sure when I do clear it that all the clear coat sticks to it, so there's no shiny spots in between the trim and all the little detail areas. So you gotta make sure you do all that too, or when you clear coat it again, it's just not gonna stick. So that took me a while to do. It took me roughly a little over 30 hours to do all that. Because every time I got to like a real fine like dent in the clear coat, I had to sit there by hand, and each one was a couple minutes just to sand that completely flat without going actually into the base coat. So there was a couple spots that I did go through the clear coat by accident on the edges, and you definitely want to stay away from that, but it's not the end of the world if it happens. Because I have a lot of base coat left over, we're going to just spray a little color on those spots that I went through before we clear it again. So I'm going to just do a quick walk around just to show you what this looks like before we get it back in the booth and shoot it one more time. All right, as you can see, it's kind of flat now, and that's kind of what you want. I still have to clean it off really good, but this is one area. After I painted it the first time, I noticed it was an actually imperfection in the body work, so I was able to get that flat and just have to touch that up. So that actually turned out well. So it kind of worked out well that I had to do this again, just so I can touch up some imperfections that I missed. So I'm just gonna walk around here. You can see how flat it is, and then this is what I mean by where it kind of went through the clear there into the base, and you can see a little bit of the sealer coming through there. So I'm just going to blow some color in there, and another little spot there that I had to touch up. And the back bumper had a couple ones too, unfortunately, but Alright, so back in the paint booth, I just got done masking everything and did my final cleaning, and then I just have to run a tack rag over it, and then we'll just hit those couple spots that need some color, and then just do that one last coat of clear, and then we'll be done. Finished up. It actually turned out really nice this time. We didn't have any issues, so we're getting ready to get this thing out of here, get it unmasked, start putting it back together. I will be doing like a cut and buff on it eventually, just to get all the little imperfections out of it, which is kind of common with any paint job, but we'll get to that later. I need a break from sanding for a while. So if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Thanks for watching.